This conference will now be recorded.
All right, this is the week 4 critique, looking at the discussions with the package designs. This is the Friday edition. All right, first up, we've got Mary Angelis, your atomic cookies packaging. So this is a good design. It looks good. I like each one of these. The only thing I would say is you still haven't captured that branding. So I think these stripes with a white background, this should be a color of some type instead of white. The fact that you have to put boxes around everything for it to read, maybe don't use the pattern on the back. If you have a nice sort of rich color here, this might help that. I understand why you're putting your logo in a hex. It's kind of scientific. Um, just everywhere where it's white, I would question that. I think that the overlaying patterns, this looks more like a carnival kind of. It's getting kind of out of control a little bit. So I would simplify the patterns a little bit. Don't use them everywhere. I do like these sort of, I think of radio waves. This one has a lot of rich color. The logo having to be separated like that means, there could be a simpler way to handle this, but perhaps put a color in this shape, or the shape could sort of like more contour the actual logo. But right now it feels like a big sticker, white sticker put on compared to everything else. But I do think this third design is probably your best one. So uh, next up, Leslie, Odessa T. So you have this interesting logo icon. Um, I feel like you've destroyed your logo icon here. This is a cool image with it in the T, but it's from a branding standpoint, it's kind of missing something. The white back, I kind of like this one better because it doesn't have the white background. Um, this design works pretty well. This pattern, just so you know, when this gets assembled, actually it's horizontal. It changes the orientation, but I think you did a good job sort of creating some hierarchy here and using all the right elements. So I think number 2 is probably your best one. And I do like the way your logo came out. All right, Kali. So here we are coming down the home stretch here. Your logo, right now, the yellow tooth on the yellow background, it's kind of getting lost. Um, I hate to say it, but maybe your tooth is white. Uh, the hierarchy on here, you have to get things arranged a little better. Perhaps you could add the image of gummies to the front somewhere. Yeah, your logo should be dominant. You could actually configure it with the type to the side of it if you wanted to, or shrink it down a little bit, add the gummies. Neon gummies is the flavor. Yes, you've added all, and it's 5 pounds. This is really heavy. Uh, uh, a little bit of sort of tweaking the organization. This looks like a little crooked, and I would close this up. Instead of black type, could it be something else? Um, I think this first one's probably your best option. But again, I feel like your logo is getting lost because yellow on yellow, there's too much yellow. So maybe a white tooth. Uh, you could add gummies to the front and see where that takes you. All right, Megan, this looks good. I'm trying to see what you did since last time. It still looks good. Yeah. Uh, I think this first one's the best option. I like the contrasting color. You kind of got a complementary relationship there that's working really well. This type, I would just make it white or this light green color, because right now it's like complementary colors of the same value. And that means that they kind of vibrate a little bit. It's a little hard to read. So you want this one of the other things to be lighter or darker. So I would make this type lighter by using one of your light green colors here, and that would work well. All right, so that's my section. Professor Penna's section, Adriana, Black Sea Chocolate. I do like this design. It's come together well. I think you still need the net weight. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's looking good. Um, for the assignment, you had to create 3 options. I can't remember if you did or not, but hopefully you did because it's coming together. All right, Ashley, YOLO cookies. I noticed that 2 of you picked YOLO cookies, which I'm not sure how that happened, but something's mixed up. Ashley, this feels a little, you need more hierarchy. So right now it's kind of like separate elements, kind of just all standing alone. Your logo should be sort of the hero. The word YOLO should be bigger than the icon. Cookies could be smaller. And then with a nice big logo in the corner, you could sort of connect it a little bit, maybe with this device here, but with the cookies, chocolate chunk. It feels a little scattered. There's an element, another element, and another element. You want to sort of tie it together a little better. Uh, you haven't really sort of figured out this brand. It's supposed to be very sort of active, energetic. Uh, Milk and Cookies seems very mundane and sort of homey and not really. And Blue Milk. Uh, so the pattern is just sort of an arbitrary thing. So maybe it's chocolate chips. You could make it look a little more like chocolate chips. Maybe some more chocolate color cues on the sides instead of just all blue. You're not locked into a single palette. You can like add some colors to this to enhance it. So right now, if you saw this on the shelf, aside from the photo of the cookies, it doesn't really have a sort of cookie indulgent feel like your brand. So think how you would add things to make it more appealing in that way. More chocolatey, delicious, chunky, all the things that YOLO is supposed to be. All right, Jesse, Patty's Pantry, you've got some interesting graphics. The gray background really feels out of place, and I'm trying to follow it. This would be a warm, friendly kind of, baked bread kind of feeling. And right now it's stark. The bread looks anemic. It feels unappetizing. So think about what you're going to do to make this, to sell this, to make it a little more warm and friendly. Um, I gather that this is your icon and that's your type. Instead of trying to put it over on the flap, I would probably just put it together, add the descriptor line, what it's about, and use a color palette that is warm and yummy and, appealing for a food product. Right now, it could be like motor oil or something. So think about that. Sheena, YOLO cookies reprise. All right. So you're using this stock pattern from Illustrator, which is one of the Von Glitzke patterns. It's really cool looking, but I wouldn't use that for your packaging. I think that you've got so much going on here. It's really hard to read this. There's type. It looks like it's doubled up so that you're sort of trying to create a drop shadow. And then you've got a pattern, you've got a photo. It's just like a lot of busy stuff going on. You need to get a little more organized. And if you put a pattern in the background here, make it very low contrast and simple so it's more like a texture. And then your icon, your logo will stand out a little better. Hope that's helpful. All right, so Taryn, you gave us some screenshots here. Chunk soap, very masculine, blue collar soap. I think your color palette needs some variety in terms of value differences, light and dark. Everything's very dark right now. Everywhere it's black could change. You're very monochromatic in the blues and green area. So you could add some more contrast in that area as well with hue. I'm seeing one design. Remember, you got to have 3. Uh, so when you think of masculine, all that, I'm not sure that you're really hitting it. It feels kind of bubble gummy a little bit with these bubbles and blue, and you can use textures like maybe wood, maybe there's stone, something like that in the background. and let your graphics stand out. Your logo, there's a lot of issues, but we're kind of past that point. But so I hope that you can figure out some things that really kind of add the branding. You need a net weight, you need a descriptor line, the soap that's for tough guys. Duh. Billie Eilish reference there. Sorry. All right, Sheena. This is it again. All right, so this is better with this without the pattern. This pattern is very large and doesn't really work on the scale of this packaging. You can scale it down in Illustrator. When you go to scale, you can, instead of scale objects, do scale patterns, and you can scale it down and see what that looks like. But I wouldn't use this existing pattern from Illustrator that von Glitzke created. You should create your own. All right, next up is Ariel Mint Soap. This looks kind of stark and unfinished. You need a descriptor line. You need net weight. You could put a picture of some type that shows the benefit of this product. It's a beauty product, so look at the category and see what types of things people are using to show the beautiful effects of their products. But you see right now, and it doesn't need nutritional facts, hopefully, because you're not going to eat the soap. Ingredients, yes, but not nutritional facts. So see what you can do is sort of enhance it, make it feel more like a beauty product. Look at other products in the category. Oil of Olay, look at your competitors, look at what their packaging looks like, and see if there's elements you can add to sort of spruce it up, make it more beauty oriented. All right, and let's see, we got this. And in section 3, there's nothing new. So Josephine, I hope you got the feedback and all's well. That's what I see. I can't wait to see how you guys finish this up. It's been a long month. You've got a lot of work, so good luck, and I can't wait to see the final product.